This is Living Power with Dan Hurst.
I had a friend down in Florida who remember teaching this very same thing one time, and he came up to me after class, and he said, I want you to know, and by the way, I share this with permission. He said, I want you to know that I've been struggling with something in my life for the longest time, and I haven't known exactly what to do about it, but I understand now what I need to do. And I said, well, that's great. I'm glad you discovered it. He said, no, I want you to know. And I said, well, I don't really need to know. It's none of my business. He said, no, I want you to know because I want you to keep me accountable. I said, okay. He said, I've been stealing from my company. He said, I've stolen well over $100,000 from my company. And he said, I'm going to tell them tomorrow. And he did, and he lost his job, as you might imagine. And of course, then there were some legal ramifications. Several months later, I was talking to him, and I said, let me ask you something. Was it worth it, going through all of that? Couldn't you have just said, okay, I'm not going to steal anymore and just walk away from it? He said, are you saying that? I said, I'm asking you. He said, no. He said, the freedom is well worth it. He said, all of the repercussions, he said, I can deal with that. He said, I can handle the repercussions. He said, but the freedom from the guilt and the freedom from the condemnation is well worth it. He said, because now I know that God has a purpose and a plan for my life that I can accomplish, and I'm not under that condemnation anymore. And sure enough, God began to use him. And he began connecting, and he built a ministry of working with business people and working with integrity, teaching. In fact, part of the name of his ministry uses the word integrity. And he just started connecting with business people. And he said, this is what I was, and this is what Christ has done in my life. This is what God is looking for in your life. It gave him a whole new ministry. A whole new world opened up for him because he made that right. Confess your sin. Make it right. Don't tell God how he has to fix it. Because believe me, he's not going to do it the way you think he should do it. Don't tell God how to fix it, but just simply do what God tells you to do. Because when you confess your sin to him and you agree to be obedient and honest before the Lord and to be transparent before the Lord, when you agree to that, you free God up to do what he wants to do in and through your life. Do you think that God didn't know this was going to happen 1,000,000 years ago in your life? Before the foundations of the earth, God already knew. He knew you, and he knew what would happen in your life. Do you think it violated his purpose and his plan for your life? Do you think that God said, oh, no, I've got to come up with a plan B? God knew what was going to happen. Not that he wanted it to happen, but he knew he could use whatever has happened in your life and use it to accomplish his purpose and his plan. You can't see that yet, but God can. God looks beyond the current, and he sees the eternal. Our job as Christians is to do exactly what Jesus did with the adulterous woman. Not condemn, to help people set free. To help people become free from the condemnation of their sin. To encourage them, to lift them up, to guide them, to direct them to new freedom in Christ as Lord of their life. Let's pray.
On behalf of Dan Hurst and the Open Class, we want to thank you for watching. We hope it was a blessing.